So some of the biggest questions that I've got is, TK, you're so excited about the EV tax credit being gone. What are they going to do to incentivize buying American automobiles? Well, according to some of the things that the administration has said in a recent post on True Social, and I think this is how Tesla is happy that the EV tax credit is gone. If your vehicle is built in America with American parts and American labor, the government could give you a tax credit. Interesting. You mean for all American built vehicles? So yeah, guys, the $7,500 EV tax credit we know is out the window completely, but what if you could buy a V8 Ram 1500 that is manufactured here in the United States with parts manufactured in the United States, and you would receive a tax credit for buying an American vehicle? Now, is it going to be $7,500? Probably not. The stuff that we've seen floated is somewhere around $1,500 to at max $3,000, depending on the price of the vehicle. More on that in a minute. That's how Tesla, I think, is why Elon is not really tripping about the tax credit going away. I find it extremely interesting because there's now I already know what a lot of you are going to say. Well, nobody's going to be able to get that, TK. Everybody gets parts from all over the world. Yeah, I get it. If you don't think that auto manufacturers won't make adjustments, and it won't be all models, it'll only be like one model at this manufacturer, one model at this, and it might be a truck, it might be a car, it could be a little SUV. Manufacturers will figure it out. Because the one thing that car dealers are freaking out about now is, they were buying these used EVs because they were able to keep that used EV tax credit when they would sell you the vehicle. And dealers were making money when they would sell EVs. The fact that these credits will now be gone means that a lot of the money that a lot of these dealerships are going to be getting is drying up. It's going to be gone. But on the consumer side, it could be a positive for you. Imagine being able to buy a truck built in America with the engine that you want, built the way that you want, and you get a tax credit at the end of the year for it. God, I love that, man. I absolutely love that idea. So instead of the EV snobs, and full disclosure, I got one, so I'm not an EV snob. I don't hate EVs. But now everybody has the access to be like, I'm going to buy a new car every year. Or I'm going to buy a vehicle every other year because I know I get a $1,500 to $3,000 tax credit on every vehicle. And not just that, if I buy a truck and it weighs a certain weight and it's over, 6,500 pounds or whatever it is, I get to write that off for my business too. What? I get oh my God, I look at all of the advantages to this if it becomes a thing. And it's exciting to me. And it's going to make manufacturers like General Motors and Ford and Stellantis have to really rethink things. Now, most of the heavy duty stuff that Stellantis builds, the 2500, 3500, they're done in Mexico. So in order for them to get those credits, and that's something else with tax policy that the Trump administration is considering changing. Like if it's over a certain amount of weight, you can get a credit for that for your business. It doesn't really affect a consumer as much or a regular individual person. But if you have a business, it does. But they're looking at changing that it has to be built here. Well, that means a lot of their fleet stuff or people that get those credits and buy those fleet vehicles every 2 years or every year from Stellantis would change because they're not getting that credit for that vehicle. So they would have to move those. Could they move 2,500 and 3,500 production to Shap? Yeah. Sterling Heights, they could do it. I see such a renaissance in the automotive industry in America, in Detroit specifically, by some of the policies that are going to get put in. And we'll know really quickly just by how the automakers act. Like I said, Stellantis is going to talk about what their power plant goals are in the next week. One of those will be a V8 in a truck. And we'll see. You know, they said they were never going to do that. They were going full EV, and now we're watching the manufacturers flip up. You know, Ford was the first one to do it. We're closing this. We're making 2,500. We're making F-250s, F-350s here. Screw this EV stuff. And you're going to see Stellantis do the same thing. They don't have a choice if they want to stay in business anyway. But I digress. What do you think about a tax credit for everybody that buys an American-made, American-built with American parts and American labor vehicle? Now, I know you're going to say, it's impossible. There is no American parts. It's not true. It can be done. It's if the manufacturers want to make it happen. Tesla does it, and don't think they won't take advantage of it. I know you're going to say, well, the battery's this, or the material comes from here. If the parts are, I'm going to be very clear, manufactured, not where the material comes from. If the parts are manufactured in the U.S., with U.S. labor, U.S. assembly, it would qualify for that tax credit. That's why Elon is not tripping about a $7,500 tax credit going out the window, because he builds his cars here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends. Tax credits for V8s. Ooh.